Last episode covered how Blank, these two god-tier online game players, upon arriving in Disboard, this world where games decide everything, used knowledge from their original world to become the kings of humanity, the race that had been driven to a dead end by the other races. As kings, they're incredibly capable. Not only did they pacify multiple races, they brought them under their command. Even against the world's largest nation, they won without a fight, and indirectly even triggered that nation's civil war. Now, in the other race's eyes, this pair of kings has become a conquest king worthy of the name. Normally, a victor who subjugated the Flugel, the Werebeasts, the Sirens, the Dampers, and the Old Deus might prompt the other races to form a temporary coalition. However, if the opponent's true identity has never been exposed, that's another matter. Humanity was originally at death's door, yet ever since Blank ascended, humanity has won every battle. Faced with such a huge turnaround for humanity, the other races naturally wouldn't think Blank won by their own power, but rather by some race behind them and its guaranteed victory strategy. To seize that guaranteed victory strategy before the other races do, these races worried about Blank began taking the offensive. But by normal reasoning, striking directly at the unknown Blank is too dangerous, so they'd only choose to strike at the nations under Blank to see if they could get some useful intel from them. But as you all know, there's no such thing as a guaranteed victory strategy. In other words, these nations that go on the offensive will only keep feeding in the games. Right now, both the Eastern Union and Oceando stand ready to deal with these feeders. And Blank? Simple. They've got nothing to do. Because everything is handled by the nations under them. So just like this volume's title, they take a break. Well, that's what they say. But Blank is actually still doing things. They halted all domestic affairs to turn their newly made ally, the Old Deus Horu, into an idol worthy of the name God Tier. No good. Horu, you want to become an idol diva looking like that? If there's no emotion, then don't dance. I don't understand. What does emotion mean? If I cannot dance, then I won't dance. Poor Horu was forced by Blank to practice singing and dancing. Even more pitiful, Blank's instructions were vague, and the moves they wanted Horu to dance were a bit different each time. That's different from the earlier instruction. Blank's moves danced to the music were perfect, and Horu imitated them perfectly. But Blank felt that copying exactly is amateur. Horu has to put in her own emotion. For that clear low note just now, for instance, what kind of emotion should you put in? Blank's reason for making Horu an idol wasn't only their own hobby. Part of the reason was they wanted to shape Horu into the mastermind controlling Blank from the shadows. Anyway, after Horu went through a round of intense training, she began her performance right where Blank had sworn in as king. Horu's performance was just as terrible as the segment shown earlier. Her moves, voice, and singing had no emotion. There were no stage effects. The music came only from a phone and Horu's own singing. All of it was excruciatingly awkward. Still, the sight of a cute girl working hard to finish her performance made everyone present cheer loudly. Let's not dwell on Horu's showing, since it was her first time on stage, and Blank had also told her to improvise. But the reason the stage was so shabby is that Blank got swindled by the Eastern Union's entertainment industry. A certain company applied pressure and suddenly canceled the equipment delivery. Oh, really? Daring to make an enemy of state authority? What nerve. We'll start by crushing them. Just as Sora was pondering what to do for the next performance, Blank's phone suddenly rang, in this world without radio waves. Cipher, rule, analysis, two-way communication established. We can talk. We earnestly request a meeting, King of Humanity. Otherworlder, we are the Ex Machina. To blank, the Ex Machina are beings who might overturn their strategy, so Sora could only force himself to calm down and reply to the Ex Machina on the phone. Okay, sure, let's meet. The moment Sora's words fell, the space between the castle's main gate and the throne hall suddenly turned into a road covered in rubble, and a black group came dashing toward Blank along it. Originally, because of the 10 Covenants, we couldn't perform such alterations, but teleportation is unusable, so we used spatial displacement. Please forgive us, Master. When the black group reached Blank, the road returned to normal. This group had 13 members, male and female, and after they took off their hoods, every single one was staring at Sora, putting immense pressure on him. I didn't misjudge. They're just too baffling. Sora had judged it impossible for any race to go to war with humanity now, but the reality was the Ex Machina were here. Apologies, I have no name. This unit is called the Total Connection Unit. This unit is the Ex Machina's, you could call me the plenipotentiary. Facing this race that could even kill the god of war and end the Great War, Sora broke into a cold sweat. If they were just ordinary machines, Sora wouldn't be this afraid, but they clearly possess emotions, and they even interfered with a phone, meaning they can grow without limit. If they'd already seen through Blank's true identity and strategy, then Blank's chances of winning would be almost zero. Just as Blank's sense of crisis rose past its peak, my beloved, I've missed you. Come, let us nurture the seed of love. Being suddenly courted by a male robot, Sora fainted on the spot. When Sora finally came to, what he saw was the Ex Machina, now dressed in tailcoats and maid outfits, arguing over who could take Sora. I don't know what you're all here for, but leave the maid robots and the guys can head back. Please calm down, beloved. The Ex Machina have come to aid you. We're allies. Facing this baffling confession, Sora could only shout, Doraemon, save me! Before my sentence finished, Jabril appeared. My, as expected of Master, what luck, running into a rare species. It's an execution, right? Please wait 4 seconds. Activating number 2 unit lock program. Error occurred. Please identify the cause. Naturally, the two sides can't actually fight, since the 10 Covenants are still in effect. Unable to throw hands, Jabril began explaining the Ex Machina's current situation. It turns out that after the 1,000-year Great War, the Ex Machina were almost wiped out. And worse, for some reason, they lost the ability to make brand new units. So the current ones truly number only 13, each still a wartime unit. Number 2 unit, correction. We have not lost the ability to reproduce. We've merely kept waiting for the suitable person to appear. And that's the reason we're here. Yes, the suitable person is the will inheritor. You're called Sora now, right? Yes, it's you, my beloved. Nurture the seed of love with this unit and make a new unit. Don't take off your clothes. You're not broken, are you? Indeed, this unit's service life has exceeded 5,982 years. But rest assured, this unit's thoughts and love are perfectly normal. After Einzig said this, he began taking off his clothes again. Just as Jabril and Shiro both issued a kill order, Einzig was suddenly kicked flying and slammed into the wall, motionless. Vote. Conversation cannot proceed. Temporarily strip this unit of command. This unit takes over. Apology. Some units are severely malfunctioning. Theoretically, because of the 10 Covenants, one shouldn't be able to harm Einzig this directly. But since the whole Ex Machina is a single unit as a connection body, crippling one doesn't violate the Covenants. Like Einzig, this robot also opened by asking Sora to stop the Ex Machina's extinction. Please, believe me and tell me. But before that, may I ask your name? This Ex Machina had no name, only a code. So Sora, to conveniently address her, used her code to name her Emir Eins. Being named by her beloved, Emir Eins had no reason not to accept. And so the newly named machine girl continued to add some explanation about the Great War and her race's plight. To the point, the Ex Machina's reproductive mechanism can be used now too, but due to some accumulated errors, all units suffered a kind of hardware lock, refusing to reproduce with anyone but the designated one. That's bad. Affirmative, this is bad. To coax Sora into helping them reproduce, Emir Eins even compared herself to a puppy, saying that if he wouldn't have a child with her, she'd die. Now, as for how to have a child with a machine, the usual Ex Machina reproduction method is to connect two units' reproductive mechanisms and, after cross-referencing data, produce a unit fitting next-generation needs. And the unusual method? Simple. Remember I mentioned the werebeast's reproduction method? That is obtaining the other's soul. At some point, the Ex Machina also became a race able to reproduce this way. And now, as long as they obtain part of Sora's soul, they won't go extinct. As for how to obtain it, the Ex Machina thoughtfully remade themselves to obtain the soul via the ordinary human reproduction method. Not only that, since they can't directly reference a living human, they'll adjust their internal shape at any time based on what kind of stimulus Sora reacts to. To put it plainly, it's a self-improving adult product. Temptation. Brand new condition, of course. Care to try it out? Bro, why aren't you speaking? I'm not speaking. I'm not shaken. Here, Steph noticed a problem the audience surely won't notice. Why did the Ex Machina pick Sora? It turns out that before the Ex Machina got a heart from Shui, they didn't even count as machines. From the moment of their birth, they only passively responded to all the harm the environment brought them, no different from grass and trees, with no purpose and no meaning. But after Shui shared her heart that fell in love with Riku with all units were as if eroded by a computer virus, all hopelessly falling in love with Riku. And so from then on, they locked their reproductive mechanisms, willing to reproduce only with their beloved. This unit firmly refuses to have a child with anyone but Master. It's physiologically impossible. Sorry if you go extinct because of that, and you're just fools. No problem, because even after more than 6,000 years, we finally met. You've surely got the wrong person, right? Back then, the piece called humanity hadn't even been born. Human civilization had only just begun. Jabril, are the Ex Machina this kind of bunch? They're skilled at observation and analysis, and even in battle, a single unit could face me. They should be an extremely excellent race. Probably the price of god-slaying. I really don't want to admit I once struggled against such creatures. This part is Jabril affirming Shui. Given Jabril's personality, this is already the highest level praise. No need to be shy. You are the beloved. Although you two don't look much alike, beloved, be a bit more manly. But no matter how cruel time is, this love never changes. What Einzig said here is actually the author hinting that the real Riku looks nothing like Sora. The reason Riku has his current appearance is the result of Tet deliberately inserting part of Sora's image. Report. The sample data of individuals Sora and Riku, the estimated match rate is 96.23%. Hearing this conclusion, Sora was about to laugh at their probability as mere armchair theory. But the next second, hearing what Einzig said, Sora could no longer laugh. But logical computation is merely reference information. In the end, just a boring puzzle game. Yes, these Ex Machina possess the same thinking pattern as Sora. Then what can we ultimately believe in? My beloved, this unit's heart has concluded. You are the one the Ex Machina have been waiting and hoping for. Checkmate is what I'd like to say. But wrong person is wrong person. The answer the heart gives, before the facts, wrong is wrong. Question: Master doesn't want to have a child with this unit? Of course Sora wants to, but Shiro won't allow it. So, to change this situation, the Ex Machina proposed a game to Sora. If the Ex Machina win, you will be obligated to pick one Ex Machina unit and reproduce. And if we win, you will be granted the right to pick one Ex Machina unit and reproduce. It's the same either way. Fine. But my side feels two, me and Shiro. And the stakes change too. Just as Sora was about to propose this condition, the Ex Machina refused. Only you may play the game. The Ex Machina will fight as all units, parallel linked as the connection body. The game content is designated by the Ex Machina. Starting game 01. Chess. Normally, it's indeed the challenged blank who can propose the game type and demands. But when the Ex Machina don't care whether they go extinct and even use self-destruction as a threat, blank, who needs to clear this whole world, loses the initiative. Now, the one who can make demands and choose the game becomes the Ex Machina. With things like this, plus Sora being a bit annoyed, he took on a game that, for him, might well be unwinnable. Of course, Sora, knowing he might lose, didn't just let himself be at their mercy. He also proposed this condition. If I win, you immediately unlock your reproductive mechanisms, abandon that belief of not having a child with anyone else, and go reproduce. Also, you become the special effects devices for the concert at our command. Deal? Understood. But our side adds two demands too. 1, a draw counts as our win. 2, upon our win, immediately provide the love intel of our beloved. You dare look down on me? Don't think I'll let you win easily, you hateful scrap metal. After saying this, one person and 13 Ex Machina swore to the covenants at the same time. Although Sora spoke with bravado, sadly, with Sora's chess skill, he could at best barely reach a draw. As expected of the beloved, against the Ex Machina to actually reach a draw. From your moves, I can feel your will. You truly are the beloved. Indeed, reaching a draw against a machine is impressive, but by the results, he still lost, so Sora could only faithfully obey the covenants. Not. Your demand didn't specify exactly when or with whom. Although he wanted to counter with the old trick, the Ex Machina had long known that even by force, they couldn't obtain Sora's love, so their true demand was only the beloved's love intel. More specifically, what should we do so the beloved falls in love with this unit? For you, at least, I have no intel to offer. Hey, why should a beloved tell you how to fall in love with a robot wiggling its body? The answer is, it's impossible to fall in love. Verdict. The side dishes Master keeps, that's the only intel we want. The moment Emmerine said this, Shiro's guard shot to maximum, because Shiro knew these robots also want to analyze Sora's tastes. The Ex Machina are dangerous enemies. Helpless, Sora could only obediently hand over his tablet. But it's only the side dishes, okay? As for other intel, of course I neither consent to plundering nor to destroying. It's in there. I've opened the folder too. The rest, help yourselves. The tablet's sensing works by triggering off the slight electrical current of human skin. In other words, if the Ex Machina tapped the screen, there'd be no response. Speaking of Master's side dishes, I recall the most were just voice recording clips of Steph and the others. Could clips like that be of any use? Here, Sora used two tricks. One, the Ex Machina can't recklessly test the tablet. He even saw that they couldn't use it. Two, the folder Sora opened was voice clips, which are indeed side dishes, but only one kind, of no help at all in analyzing Sora's tastes. In other words, Jabril saw through Sora's intent and chimed in, telling a lie with no lies in it. Well, now Sora truly panicked. These robots tore through Sora's disguise and even started analyzing the tablet. Should we say it's as expected of a top-tier race? They not only figured out how to activate the thing, but from the where inside the tablet, detected the most used data group. Confirmed. Master, please open it. Sora didn't want them opening the folder, but Shiro was afraid these Ex Machina might accidentally damage other data through error, so Shiro honestly said it for Sora. The hidden folder, macroeconomics, 8.23 gigabytes. That's the side dishes. Don't get it wrong. Miss Shiro, how do you know? Confirmed. Capacity matches the data group. Copying. Wait, no! And so, Sora's side dishes were all taken by the Ex Machina. And because the Ex Machina used an insufficiently precise current, they accidentally damaged the folder where Sora stored his side dishes. My life's work! Although Shiro comforted her brother beside him, saying they'd look for new side dishes together, Sora thought a sister like this was quite problematic. Then let's begin the data analysis immediately. My beloved, please wait a moment. Declaration. This unit will strive to become Master's ideal wife. This unit will work hard. And so, after the Ex Machina bowed, they launched a fierce courtship offensive. They first analyzed the text in the side dishes, then understood the culture in the side dishes, then used spatial displacement to move those scenes from the side dishes into reality. Helpless to keep his sanity, Sora could only have Jabril take him and Shiro and teleport to the Eastern Union's capital. Coming here wasn't only to dodge the Ex Machina. Another main reason was that Sora actually wanted to ask the real-life romance master, Ino, how to face this kind of situation. I'm being clung to by beautiful girl robots proposing love, and it's troubling me. Please help. Right now, the Eastern Union, to handle the other races swarming in, has deployed almost all its Bloodbreak units. Put simply, they're swamped. Mr. Sora, it seems your delusions are truly severe. You need plenty of rest. Not only did Ino not believe it, even Miko planned to call a doctor to check whether this Alliance Lord's head had gone wrong. Detect. Sky shift. Found. Master, we finally found you. Please tell us the reason you came to these coordinates. If it were another race, they could surely shake them off easily with teleportation. But they're the Ex Machina, a race that learned flugel teleportation back in the Great War. So, following the traces of Jabril's teleport, they tracked them here. Looks like I still underestimated you. Jabril's pride took a severe blow. Courtship status. Arming weapon. Detect Sora conquest. Prototype 008. The next second, reality was displaced into a scene from Sora's side dishes, and Sora's own clothes turned into a suit. Want a peek under my skirt? Sure, I like you, teacher. Teacher, I've got health education class today, too. His tastes exposed before everyone, Sora's heart took 100,000 points of damage. His companions, except Jabril, all watched Sora with utterly contemptuous eyes. Please, I'm begging you all, could you please disappear first? Knowing the beloved really couldn't hold on, the Ex Machina obediently restored everything. Confirmed excitement response meets standard value. Presumed to be an ethics issue. Reviewing solutions. After confirming Sora reacts to petite figures, they nonchalantly teleported back. And now, Sora finally had time to start explaining the whole story. Unfortunately, before Sora could finish, courtship status, arming weapon, detect Sora conquest, prototype 009. You mean the girl who confessed to me last time? Sorry to her, but I rejected her. You ask why I rejected her? I didn't ask anything. Don't come near me. Get away. Don't make me say that kind of thing. This unit corrects. The only one I like is one person, and that is... Oh, you're so noisy. Oh, shut up, shut up! The one who let Sora barely keep his sanity was this boy's love-obsessed robot. Every time Einzig launched an offensive, far from raising Sora's affection, it only lowered Sora's decency. Why are you so committed to the boy's love route? But if the beloved won't accept the real me, then there's no meaning. Rather than settle for the safe route, I'd rather die. It turns out Einzig hadn't given up hope, because among those side dishes, there was a boy's love book. Of course, that was because Sora was fooled by the cover and accidentally bought it. Don't you feel there's far too much content that defies common sense? To this question, Einzig picked himself up from self-doubt and declared, the fact that these side dishes defy common sense is the very representation of heart, the very expression of love. True love. I ask you all, has any race with self-awareness ever spoken of such complete love? Sora's side dishes now fluttered all over the space. In contrast to Einzig shedding tears of emotion, Sora also shed tears of an entirely different meaning. Everyone at the scene also felt very awkward. Miko, having no experience in that area, could only ask, red-faced, "What are the people in the pictures doing?" While Jabril demanded Master teach her these poses, or practice them on her. "Please, will you be buried together with me?" "Sure, okay." Seeing this offensive fail again, Einzig could only tell Sora to look forward to it, then vanished from everyone's sight. "That one over there. When do you plan to go back?" Emir Eins cleverly only hid her body, which satisfied Sora's command. "Boast, Master ordered this unit to disappear, so this unit obeyed and made itself invisible." Seeing the maid outfit Emir Eins appear, Sora asked a question he'd had for a while. Why a maid outfit? To this, Emir Eines's answer was, in essence, after gaining from Shui the belief of wishing the beloved's wish be fulfilled, they decided to offer up everything of themselves, and there were 8 such image outfits. Choosing the maid outfit in the end had no special reason. Oh, a new character who showed up halfway even dares call herself Master's servant? Jabril developed a pointless sense of rivalry. Declaration. This unit devoted itself to Master 6,000 years ago. The one who showed up halfway is you. Thick-skinned. Show off. Idiot. Just as the two sides were about to fight again, Sora hurriedly asked Emir Eines to leave first, while Shiro told Jabril to sit. You scrap metal person. Answer, yes, ma'am. After Emir Eines left, things finally quieted down at the capital. With things having come to this, Ino finally realized this wasn't Sora's delusion. So, to Sora's question of how to clear up this misunderstanding, Ino gave a clear reply. Just tell them? No? You can't reproduce with the wrong person. I don't understand why you refuse. This question reminded Sora. I must sort out the Ex Machina situation. I'll head back at once. Excuse me for leaving first, Master. Just as Sora thought he could escape the ranks of suffering and get ready to head back, Ino nastily doused Sora with cold water. But they're machines, right? Wouldn't that be a blow-up doll? With that one line, Sora canceled his original decision and just had Jabril teleport to a place the Ex Machina wouldn't find. This time, Jabril used a long-distance teleport, but only jumped nearby to fool the Ex Machina's tracking. Now Sora finally calmed down, sorted his thoughts a bit, and slowly understood why he insisted on not mating with the Ex Machina. It turns out Sora had noticed from the start that if the Ex Machina discovered they'd got the wrong person, they'd very likely choose to self-destruct outright. In other words, the current situation is if Sora does it with the Ex Machina, they'll discover Sora isn't the beloved, then self-destruct. And if he doesn't, the Ex Machina have no successor units, so extinction is only a matter of time. When Sora told these judgments to Shiro and Jabril, Jabril proposed two solutions. One, kill them all and keep just one? The first plan was rejected before she finished. The second plan was to maintain the status quo, i.e., let them keep misunderstanding. But the second plan, Sora felt, also had two problems. One, Sora's own mental fortitude wouldn't hold. Two, Sora feared that if it dragged on, one day the Ex Machina would discover the misunderstanding, and that millennium-long wait would have them holding a kitchen knife and saying, "Since you dared violate this unit, I'll kill you, and this unit will self-destruct too." Simply put, neither proposal works. Then, just as Master originally demanded. What Jabril meant was, after Blank defeats the Ex Machina, they could use the Covenants to make the Ex Machina mate with other races. But this has a problem too. "May I ask," Blank, who'd set that condition, "how do you get the Ex Machina to agree to it? Or even play a game Blank can win?" Anyway, they were stuck in a deadlock. Just as Blank was fretting over what to do, a cargo truck drove past Blank. They can even manufacture cars now? The one most surprised by the Ex Machina appearing here wasn't Blank, but Jabril. Why? A sealed-off space shouldn't be able to reopen. The Ex Machina had completely seen through Jabril's intent. They not only found that Jabril used excess power, they also knew Jabril's whereabouts. So through comprehensive analysis, they found this place. Notice, the number 2 unit's intelligence is low. Simple. Idiot. Just as the killing intent between Emmer Ines and Jabril swelled to the limit again. "My beloved, I've kept you waiting 1500.317 seconds. First, let's set off together on a friendship-building trip with this unit." I have no friendship to build with you. More importantly, force isn't my preference. Seeing this truck, Sora assumed the Ex Machina planned to launch a road trip around Japan kidnapping pretty girls. But, rest assured, my beloved, we Ex Machina won't make the same mistake twice. The beloved doesn't like force, nor likes having his tastes announced before others. But being forced seems fine, and this vehicle is a sealed room, with soundproofing too. The conclusion the Ex Machina reached after learning is Sora isn't the kidnapping side, but the being kidnapped side. Sora had assumed that with the 10 covenants in place, the Ex Machina couldn't successfully abduct anyone. But the next second, that wish was instantly shattered. Sora was very easily pulled toward the cargo truck. Help! Bro's about to be carried off! And so, Jabril immediately took Blank and teleported away. All right, No Game, No Life Volume 9 Part 1 ends here. This volume shouldn't have anything hard to follow, but if it does, please leave a comment below. Honestly, I'd really love to hear Ainzek's voice actor, Junichi Suwabe, voice those comedic lines. Just imagine, Red in the voice of Red A, Archer, it'd be super funny. Finally, No Game, No Life is nearing its end too. So if there's anything else you all want to hear besides this work, please leave a comment below. I've got a few options for now, but I'd like to know more people's opinions.